The scrap collector Charles found a box in the desert. Upon opening it, he discovered it contained $200,000, which was an enormous sum for someone with such a meager income. Greedy Charles immediately grabbed the money box and headed home, while the original owner Cade was already lying on the ground, barely alive. Charles not only did not help him, but even lifted a rock. Seeing that Cade was still moving, he panicked instantly, hurriedly threw the money box into the tractor, and then stomped on the gas, leaving the scene. Halfway along the way, Charles felt that something was wrong. Fearing that Cade might wake up and come after him, Charles took a wrench out of his bag, determined to finish Cade off. When he returned to the original spot, he found that the person was gone. Charles immediately broke into a cold sweat, nervously gripping the wrench and searching everywhere. Turning his head, he saw Cade already sitting on the tractor, holding a machine gun. Helpless, Charles could only put down the wrench and then drove the tractor back to the scrapyard with Cade.
Get the case.
I'll get it later.
Get it. Come on.
Charles reluctantly placed Cade on the bed, only to find that he had stopped moving, his eyes rolling back, seemingly near death. Seeing this, Charles became very domineering again, directly throwing Cade to the ground and seizing the machine gun and the money box. Cade gritted his teeth in anger but could do nothing. Now half paralyzed, he was completely at someone else's mercy. At that moment, Charles's daughter Jessie suddenly appeared, her innocent eyes staring fixedly at Cade. It turned out that there were only 2 households in this desert. Besides Charles and his daughter, there was only this crazy woman, so when Jessie saw the young Cade, she felt a sudden flutter in her heart. From then on, Cade did not want to leave and planned to stay to become Charles's son-in-law. However, Charles was full of hostility toward him and would never allow this mysterious stranger to stay in the house. At this time, Cade could not walk and had to stay temporarily to recover from his injuries. A few days later, a car arrived. The delivery man came every week to bring supplies here. Cade took advantage of Charles settling the accounts and preparing to flee. At a critical moment, Charles suddenly returned and poor Cade was beaten until his face was swollen and bruised. By now, Charles had been enraged and was determined to send this half-paralyzed man to heaven.
Get lost! Now! Gone!
Jesse's appearance disrupted Charles's plan, allowing Cade to temporarily save his life and use innocent Jesse to help tend his wounds. When Charles discovered this, he was very angry and forbade his daughter from approaching Cade. He tried to appear domineering, but in reality he was trembling inside, often hiding alone in the small cabin and crying until his face was wet with tears. Jessie inadvertently saw her father's weak side. Charles stopped pretending to be a bad person and took the initiative to remove the bullets from Cade's body. Seeing her beloved escape danger, Jessie finally breathed a sigh of relief. She gazed at this man with a very dreamy look. Unfortunately, Jessie was mute and could not express her feelings. Half a month later, Cade's body had mostly recovered. Every day he secretly sent signals to Jessie using a mirror. Seeing this, Charles felt delighted, thinking that his mute daughter had finally found a match and would no longer have to follow him around collecting scrap.